What is a small thing that you'll always be grateful for? My parents and the life they've been able to give me. I know that there are kids who went to bed hungry or didn't know where their next meal was coming from or had absent/abusive parents. I've been extremely blessed and privileged to not have to endure those hardships thanks to my parents. Natural sunlight shining my apartment room. Used to take this for granted when I lived on the top floor and the big windows facing south and a smaller window facing west. Then I moved to a first floor apartment which gets no sun at all after 12 to 1 p.m. This is really silly, but I'm a doctor who just finished residency. Which is beyond exhausting and feels like no one gives a shit about you or your well-being. Often the unit secretaries would use their buzzer to open the doors to the units as I approached, versus me swiping my badge at the door, and it was often the only time I felt like anyone cared that I was around all day. Now I'm past that stage of training but still really appreciate when they buzz me through the door unasked. It's not really a small thing tbh, but all the little things my husband does that makes my life easier, e.g. his morning routine for washing up, doing the washing, sorting out the little one for school, and his almost constant positive mental attitude that really helps my depressed ass. My husband prepares coffee the night before and sets the timer on the coffee machine so the coffee is ready for me when I get up at 6 a.m. I will always be grateful for that. It's a small thing that makes such a big difference in my day. My husband makes me tea leaves it on a tea warmer by my bedside for me to wake up to every morning. It's a wonderful way to start my day. Also, when strangers smile at me, always brightens my mood. So I always smile at others. Or I'll at least squint my eyes like I'm smiling if I have a mask on, lol. Do you think that because most males feel the need to hide their emotions is why there are so many younger or middle-aged men committing suicide? I don't think it's that men feel the need in quad. It's probably more that our fathers and other male role models hid their emotions due to how things were when they were growing up. I certainly don't feel the need to hide them. But that doesn't mean that I don't hide how I feel. Fuyu. I have been on prescription medication to deal with depression, anxiety and stress for the last 7 years. I have thought multiple times about suicide. But never because of hiding my feelings. I also think men's depression is brushed aside because there's this idea that as a man, you can do anything. You're the top of the food chain. So you shouldn't be complaining. I don't enjoy crying in front of people. I hold it back as much as I can. But there have been times I just couldn't help it and I burst out crying. This is mainly to doctors about my chronic pain or employers about the same. I think once they saw me let loose, they truly understood how severe the condition was affecting me. I felt like I got more help because I could appear vulnerable. If I was a man, I probably would have tried harder not to cry and not gotten the same sympathy or help. I hide my emotions because honestly, who should care? They're my emotions and mine to deal with. I don't want to burden anyone else with my struggles. Especially women. Because at least in my experience, there's only 2 women in my entire life that I met that didn't find my showing of emotions as weak or pathetic. They're good friends and I wish I could find more women like them. But that seems pretty unlikely, and honestly, I probably will inevitably off myself with no one knowing how much I'm hurting. Because like I said before, I don't want to burden anyone with my pain. Their ignorance is bliss. Why are Western liberals more critical of Christianity than Islam? I am liberal, but I've noticed that other liberals seem to have this idea that Islam is a brown people religion and Christianity is a white people religion. Never mind the fact that there are tons of brown and black Christians out there. And there are white Muslims. I'm not interested in the race. I'm interested in the practices and ideas that come from religion. And many of them are not good. I have no problem saying that Muslims seem to be more by the book in some regions of the world. And the 3 Abrahamic holy books are full of violence. Why I am way more critical of Christianity than Islam? Simple. I went to school and was taught about Christianity my whole childhood. I had catechism classes. The Christian religion still has a strong hold in my country's local politics, not the US. I see the effect of that religion on my country. Hell, in my state. We're in the process of rewriting our constitution and there's an actual debate if we should keep in the name of God Almighty at the beginning. We are supposed to have a separation between the church and the state. I don't know much about Islam. I am still critical of it. But I don't think it's my place to be uber critical about it. Because they interact more with Christianity. Christianity informs large parts of the societies they live in. While Islam rarely affects their life. Since Western liberals are mostly not Muslim. And mostly don't live in Muslim societies. There's relatively little use in them spending a lot of time talking about it. You could ask me why I spend more time complaining about my job than about the working conditions in some other job. The answer is basically the same. 1. I know more about my own job. 2. My job affects me more directly. 3. My opinion on my job actually matters because I'm in a position to do something about it. Men of Reddit. What is something women are insecure about that you think is weird? Breast size, stretch marks, how they think they must look like supermodels, and some will develop eating disorders or get depressed over it. I understand that the media force feeds it to them and that's sad. Maybe it's me, but I think most women are attractive the way they are, and I mean that in the least creppiest way possible. I don't mean for it to sound creepy. So their self-image overall. I worked with 2 women who were really attractive in my opinion, yet they both honestly thought they were ugly and fat. It's sad to see. This is thankfully becoming less common. But some women are embarrassed about knowing something. Or having an opinion on particular subjects. This isn't a "I'm not very smart, so I'm unconfident" thing. It's an "I'm smart, but I feel like I'm not supposed to be" thing. They might pretend to not know an answer when they know it. Or be undecided when they're not. This is more prevalent in women that came from fundamentalist, patriarchal, religious backgrounds unsurprisingly. Weirdly, the habit often persists even when the religious beliefs do not. Lots of shit women judge each other for, like not looking like 10% body fat. Super skinny fashion models. Having poorly painted nails. Their college degrees. Their fashion. Everything ever written in Cosmo. Etc. There's a whole separate and viscous status game that goes on between women that men just don't care about. The thing is, most women don't know that men don't care about this crap and think we're the ones judging them for this shit. It ain't the patriarchy telling you that you're bad for showing up in the same dress as another women. We could give a shit. We only care about cute, nice and trustworthy. The rest of it is all women shitting on women.